All right. I am back again with my sisters to talk about self care part two. Self care part two. I really enjoyed talking the last time about this topic. It's such a needed topic to talk about self care. Um, I challenged everybody in the last episode to get out their phone and to schedule one self care day. So to open it up, I'm gonna share what I did, and I want to hear what you guys did very quickly. Since the last time we recorded, I got a massage, and it felt wonderful. And I did some retail therapy, and that felt even great. So that's what I did. I need to schedule self care. Actually, me and you are going to the beach in a couple weeks, so that's going to be part of my next self care. That's just going to be my time spent with my friend doing what I want to do and don't have to worry about nothing else. Right. So, and I'm purposely blocking that time. So, no phone calls, no business. So, what have you guys did since the last broadcast concerning self care?
Well, for me, I went to the beach.
Okay.
One morning, I went to the beach, just sat in one of the chairs, let Kyla play around, and then actually got in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very relaxing, and just was able to enjoy the beauty of the beach and
Yeah.
everything. Because I grew up by the beach, so I don't really go to the beach as much, but I like that time.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. I probably knitted a lot more recently. I mean, I picked up my knitting needles, and I actually went through, inspired by you and your goal setting thing, that I went through and made a schedule of like everything I was going to do throughout the day, and I actually put in 30 minutes a day in my schedule to relax.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
that was
So
a
good.
big thing for me.
Good.
Now, I didn't do it every day, but I definitely put it in the schedule and purpose to start doing it
Mm-hmm.
every day.
What about you, Sharon?
It's the beach. For me, it's always the beach. That's where I just feel like all the stress goes away.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I get there on the sand, put my feet in the sand, it's just like everything lifts.
Yeah.
So it's always when I start feeling really stressed or overwhelmed, if I'll just go, I can spend an hour down there, and it's life changing.
Yeah.
And so I just took a cup of coffee and went down on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just enjoyed the time.
Yeah. So for you guys watching, we're here in Florida. We are here in Florida, so we have a beach to our access. But you might not have a beach. You might not have a beach, but I still want to encourage everyone to schedule self-care day. Schedule it. Be intentional about it. So, ladies, on the last time I gave different types of self-care, I'm just going to refresh. There's physical, emotional, social, and spiritual. And we talked a little bit about that in the last broadcast, so you can go back and watch that. But today I wanted to continue with the conversation of types of self-care. So I'm going to give 5 types of self-care. And one is healthy eating and lifestyle. Healthy eating and lifestyle. It's amazing that what we eat and put in our body will affect how we feel. It'll affect if you're eating a lot of junk, a lot of candy, a lot of things that's not good. It'll make you a little foggy. I don't know about you guys, but I often fast, and I know how I feel after I fast. Not only spiritually I feel better, but physically, I just noticed a change in my body as far as feeling good. Feeling good. So a healthy lifestyle. I'm sorry, healthy eating. Healthy eating. So part of self-care, we had to intentionally make time. So if you're going to do healthy eating and a lifestyle, you have to be intentional about that as well. That means you have to prepare. Before I came here, I cooked dinner, you guys. I cooked a meal so I don't have to pick up anything while I'm out. So I was intentional because that's part of not only for me but for my family. What about you guys? Do you feel better after you're eating healthy for a long period of time?
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell the difference when you learn to listen to your body. I can tell when I've had gluten, and I'm not necessarily allergic to gluten, but I can feel the difference. In my joints and in my body. I know when I've been eating too much of that. And as you said, sweets and the sugar makes me lethargic. And I just want to take a nap.
Yeah.
So when I recognize those things in my body, I know, it's
Mhm.
time to make the correction.
Right.
And a lot of it is stress eating, and we just have to monitor that. It's nothing wrong with having a piece of chocolate. I'm a chocolate girl.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you overdo it, then you're going to start feeling the difference in your body, and you're going to be frustrated.
Absolutely.
So moderation, I think, is key.
Yeah. So I have a diagram you guys can't see, but this is the fruits, the vegetables, the grains, the protein, exercise, and water. Right now it's very hot in Florida. It's hot across the country. So part of self-care too is drinking enough water. As a nurse, I can tell you if you do not drink enough water, you will dehydrate. And it will affect your mental status. It's funny what dehydration will do just to your overall well-being. Drinking water, exercise. Exercising is another way of self-care. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Me time. Number 2, me time. Me time. So a question, when was the last time you took some time away for yourself, and why is it important to have me time? We open up talking about that, but it is vitally important. I just have said, when I come to the beach, when I meet you, I'm going to let my husband know, hey, I'm going to be out for a couple hours, I'll probably mute my phone. I'm not going to check my emails because that's my time. What about you guys? How do you guys take just me time? Because that's when I said like cutting off the phone, doing this. What's another example of me time that you do for yourself?
For me, I go walking. I love trails. I love nature. So sometimes off of where we live, it's a bunch of trails and different places you can just go.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes that's just my me time, just walking, just enjoying what's around me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it provides exercise since I love exercising in some way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I found really beneficial for me. Just, I don't really have to think about what's next or what I have to do. I'm just enjoying that time, even if it's with my kids. Sometimes, they laugh, they giggle, it brings you joy.
Mm-hmm.
We can play fun games. So those are things, what I do for me time.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
For me, I have to intentionally get up early.
Mm-hmm.
I try to get up at 5 a.m. and schedule that time just to be with me and Jesus, and it really grounds me for the day when I do that.
And I like that you mentioned that. For me, I get up too and try to do my devotionals in the morning and pray. And sometimes it's just important to start your day off right. And part of that includes just that me time. Sometimes you just need a quiet space so you can hear yourself, hear your thoughts, hear from the Lord. Just hear. And again, being intentional. So that means you might have to get up early, be sleepy, but do it because it's vital. So next, number 3, because I'm giving 5 tips. And number 3 is rest. Rest. I just, you guys know I'm a preacher, and last week I just preached a message about getting rest. And one thing that I kept saying is many people are sleeping, but few are getting rest. It's a difference to sleep, and it's a difference to rest. So, the question is how are you resting? Because that is important to self-care. If you are not at rest in your being, I believe just being in the medical field over 25 years, there's a lot of people that's not at rest. They have stress, they have high blood pressure, it's a lot of things that lead to being unrested. And the word disease, if you break it apart, is dis-ease, which means there's not an alignment with rest. So rest is very important. And so there's many people, I know like you guys, it's many nights I had went to sleep. My body was tired, but my mind was racing. And I could not physically go to sleep. And that's not great for self-care. So what are some things that you guys have had to do to get your rest? Sharon, what have you had to do to get your rest?
Yeah, I laugh because it's a struggle, especially when you've got so much going on, or there's crisis, all these things that crowd in. It's hard to turn your mind off, like you said, when you lay down. And I think part of it is learning how to be still.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just sitting still. I mean really be still. Quiet your mind, and just be still. There's something to be said of that. A lot of times it's, for me, it's like Shanette said, when I go outside, and I can sit outside or walk, but just being, close to the nature or close to water, just it helps our souls. There's just something about every person is affected by that. Right. I think we have to make ourselves be still and rest.
Right. And some practical ways to do that is, for example, I try to shut my phone down about an hour before I go to sleep. I shut down the social media. I shut down the emails. I limit my calls, because if you go into sleep with that on, it's going to affect your mind. You're thinking, your mind is going like this. So that's a practical way. Sometimes part of resting, again, is getting ready, whatever the distractions are. So whatever, my distraction might be different from your distraction, but we all have distractions what causes unease or rest. So that's my third point. I got 2 more and I'm done. All right, another thing about self-care is being too busy. Stop worrying or being too busy. There's a lot of people that you always have to be doing something. You always, because you feel like you're being unproductive if you're not, your schedule is not filled up. But that is not really taking care of self, because if you're constantly going and I can attest to this, I have burnt out several times in my life. And this is what my burnt out looked like. I was going and going and going and going and going. And what happened was my body set me down because I would not stop. So my body said, oh, I got something for you. Smack. You're going to lay down. And it might have came through getting sick. It might have came through just extreme fatigue. It may have came from, I'm going, but now my whole mental status is cloudy because I've been so busy and I've been so going, I can't even think straight. And that's my body reacting to the busyness that I have put on myself. Shanette, have you ever experienced that, just being too busy?
Yes. I just had to learn that just because my schedule was full didn't mean I was actually being productive.
Right.
I think we're taught, especially in this culture, that you have to do, especially as women. You have to go. You have to be the superwoman. And one time I attended this conference, and it was a play on superwoman. It was actually telling women to take the cape off. Because we don't have the superpower that we have comes from God.
Yeah.
And sometimes, we take on that cape, your mother, wife, business owner, pastor, leader. You have so many roles.
Right.
And until we really learn to delegate those roles, until we really learn to trust God, then that allows us that time, I believe, to rest and be more productive.
Right.
And then I was taught through that journey that rest was the refreshing I need so I can really hit the mark and be even more productive in that time I had.
Right. And I like you used the word delegate. A lot of people don't know how to delegate. As a nurse, we're taught in school how to do this. That means shifting the task to somebody else. So think about, if that is you and you're busy and you got all of these things going on, take a step back and think about, who can I pass this task on to help get some of the weight off me, and so I don't have to be so busy.
So good.
Yes. So last time, my last number 5 is spending time with God and continuing to let Him lead and mold us. And of course, we're all believers here. And one thing that I have found is that part of my busyness came from me dictating my schedule and not God. I was putting everything I wanted to do on my plate and not letting Him lead and guide what was going on my plate. And for a lot of people, there's a lot of Christians that are not practicing self-care. And it is important that we spend that time, that quality time with God, so that He can lead and direct us, so that we can get rest, so that we don't have to worry, so we can eat healthy and exercise, and He will direct you in all of that. So Lastly, Naomi, I'm going to ask you this last question, and then this will be the end of our segment. But in your quiet times with God, how has He been molding you in your alone time, and how has it contributed to your self care, Naomi?
Yeah, I mean, I could, read the Bible and I can pray, but it's really in that time of dialogue with the Lord that really molds me. It's when I just take the time to ask Jesus certain questions that maybe I don't know or I don't understand what's going on in my life, and or I just need guidance or whatever it is, and then being able to teach that to my son as well.
Yeah.
I've been starting to, say, what do you think that Jesus would think about that, or how do you think that Jesus would handle this situation, or so it's really helping me to mother better, but also to just do life better.
And I like your response to that, because we have to know with self-care, there's always people watching us. And if we cannot effectively discipline ourselves with taking care of ourselves, we're setting patterns for other people. So we have to, self-care is very important. So I want to leave with this. I want to challenge you to examine the areas of your life that are lacking attention as it relates to self-care. Schedule and be available to address them for your well-being. And we just want you to have a great week. And remember to schedule time for self-care.
Yes.